Hey, it's Webs here, and it's time for the final day of cards revealed for the Throne of Tides mini set for the Sunken City. Today we're seeing the cards for Demon Hunter, Hunter, and Mage, and to my frustration, Mage is getting their third mini set legendary before two of the other classes that are both in this set of classes being revealed. So let's begin with the Demon Hunter cards. The first one being Fossil Fanatic, which is a 2-cost Demon Hunter minion with 2 attack, 2 HP. After your hero attacks, draw a fail spell. This is actually pretty good overall, as it does allow you to draw into a bunch of the cards that you would want to in a fail-based deck. You could also combine fail with questline at this point, just because of the fact that you could draw into a bunch of cards, especially with multi-strike being a card too right now. You could get at a bare minimum 2 cards in one given turn off of this, and honestly I can't see where this wouldn't see some play, as it is just good draw power for decks that would already want to run a similar card like this that don't actually have enough draw power currently. The next card revealed is Herald of Chaos, which is a 3-cost Naga minion for Demon Hunter with 3 attack, 4 HP, lifesteal, battlecry. If you cast a fail spell while holding this, gain rush. So it has lifesteal, which is the most important part about this, and its condition isn't really that hard to actually attain. However, I don't know if this sees some play over some of the other 3-cost minions that are already in Demon Hunter, mainly because of the fact that, sure, the condition isn't the hardest thing in the world to actually achieve, but just gaining rush isn't really that good per se, and the decks that might want to run this, which is a control deck, probably have better options if they don't want to run like cheap minions. It's below the cost of Vander, so big Demon Hunter wouldn't want to run this, and I don't actually know where this would actually fit. It's a cool card overall, and it's really neat to see a lot of new Fel synergies, which is a deck that has been floating around for Demon Hunter for quite a while and is the stereotypical school of magic for the class. I would love to see some maybe Shadow School Demon Hunter maybe in the future, but for now this is a really good start. And for the final card revealed for Demon Hunter, Top of the Idol, which is a 5-cost spell for Demon Hunter. Dredge, reveal it, and deal damage equal to its cost to all minions. This is a really cool card for a Dredge based Demon Hunter deck that doesn't actually currently exist. Demon Hunter does have the minion that shuffles a charge minion at the bottom of your deck, which is actually a really cool card that I've been wanting to use. I just haven't seen a real good home for such a card, and this honestly is a pretty decent card for a deck like that, because it could wipe out your entire opponent's board while you just flood your own board with a bunch of charged minions. And honestly, this might actually see some type of play in big Demon Hunter, though at the same time it might not. It is a well-cost card, so it's actually not that late for a aggro-based matchup, and maybe a control Demon Hunter deck will actually form around something like this and some of the other cards that are currently in Standard. However, Demon Hunter really doesn't have a direction right now when it comes to class cards, and honestly, I don't know how you would push Demon Hunter in any direction, given only 3 cards, and that is the big weakness of all 3 of these cards. It doesn't actually help out any existing Demon Hunter deck besides Fel Demon Hunter, but only 1 out of these 3 cards would probably be ran in such a deck, and Demon Hunter right now, after its nerfs, is honestly probably one of the weakest class in the game right now. Though I could be completely wrong, and I really do want to try out a big Demon Hunter deck just because I haven't done one of those in a while. And now for the Hunter cards, the first one being K9 Otron, which is a 2-cost mech minion for Hunter with 2 attack, 3 HP, Battlecry, Dredge. If it's a 1-cost minion, summon it. So this is really good support for Aggro Hunter or Face Hunter, whatever you want to actually call it. It's not really too big of a shock. That deck hasn't really been a deck this set, and I was actually looking forward for the fact, for the first time in a long time, that Face Hunter wasn't actually the best Hunter deck that you could possibly run, but it is core to the identity of Hunter in Hearthstone, and it makes sense that they are going to want to try to push it just because it's such a new player-friendly type of deck to actually play. I can't see a world where this doesn't see play if there's enough 1-cost minions that you could actually put into your deck that you'd actually want to dredge from the bottom of the deck. But as it currently stands, I can't think of how many Death Rattle minions or other minions that actually gain effect while on the battlefield instead of having a battle cry actually are one cost. So I don't know how useful this will actually be. It's a bit of a weaker Drekthar, but for cheaper, so it might actually still see some play. The next card revealed is Shell Shot, which is a 3-cost spell for Hunter with the nature tag. Deal 3 damage to a random enemy minion. Repeat this with 1 less damage. This is basically just a worse Deadly Shot. I don't know a world where you'd actually run this over Deadly Shot. I guess in Questline Hunter, but at the same time, this card just seems a little too bit weak compared to some of the other cards that you could be running in Questline Hunter. If you randomly generate this, it's not the worst thing in the world, but you're always going to choose something like Deadly Shot over it, and it just seems pretty weak. I know they're trying to be safe after nerfing Questline Hunter a little bit, but this card probably doesn't have a home in any type of deck. And now for the final Hunter card, Ancient Krakenbane, which is a 3-cost Naga minion for Hunter with 3 attack, 3 HP, Battlecry. If you've cast 3 spells while holding this, deal 5 damage. This is actually pretty decent just overall for Naga Hunter. That was a deck that was floating around already anyways, given the fact that Naga Hunter is actually pretty strong overall. And people were still running variants of Questline Hunter that did use some Nagas. I honestly think this is probably one of the stronger cards that was revealed today, just because of the fact that 5 damage after you cast 3 spells isn't really that hard of a condition to fill if most of your deck is already spells. And there are other cards that will allow you to just draw into this instantly. It might be a little bit too high cost, which is kind of weird to say, just because of how hard the condition is to fulfill compared to some other things. But at the same time, dealing 5 damage for free is actually pretty decent while you have a 3/3 body on board. And now for the Mage cards. The first one being Submerge Space Rock, which is a 2-cost elemental minion for Mage with 2 attack, 2 HP. Death Rattle, add 2 arcane mage spells to your hand at the end of your turn, discard them. So if this triggers on your opponent's turn, I'm assuming you actually just keep the arcane spells until the end of your next turn. I don't know if that's actually how it works, but that's my assumption. It's cool to see like arcane mage actually being pushed forward, but at the same time, I don't know what the big payoff for arcane mage currently is that you'd want to run a card like this. It is 2 random spells that you would want to maybe generate, depending on how big the school of arcane spells is in standard, most of which I think are actually draw power cards at this point. So in theory, you could draw into more of your deck if you do run a card like this, and you could minimize the amount of spells that you actually have to run in a like fire-based deck that aren't actually fire spells. And honestly, this is probably a decent card. I just don't know what the home currently is for it. And now for the next card revealed, Polymorph Jellyfish, which is a 3-cost spell for Mage that has the arcane tag. Transform a minion into a 4/1 jellyfish with spell power +2. This dilutes the pool of the last card that was actually revealed, which is a little bit depressing to actually say. However, at the same time, it is pretty decent spell power for something that you can actually easily discount given the next card that got revealed, and we'll go over that soon. Though I don't know if Mage would want to use this at all if they have to transform their own minions. It's mainly due to the fact that most Mage minions either already serve some type of purpose while they're on the board, or you just don't run that many Mage minions in general. If you use it against your opponent's minions, you're giving them a 4/1, but if you have your hero power, you could instantly kill it. It really just depends where this actually fits. Spell power is always nice. It's one of those mechanics that has been moved away from more recently, even though it is one of my more favorite mechanics. I know it's not the most fun to play in the world against, but I love Malagos, what can I say? And now for the final card revealed, Lady Nazjar, which is a 5-cost legendary minion for Mage with 5 attack, 5 HP, has the Naga tag, and while in your hand, this transforms after you've cast a Fire, Frost, or Arcane spell. So if you use an arcane spell, then you're going to discount the cost of your spells in your hand by 1. If you use a fire spell, it becomes a board clear that does 5 damage to 1 minion and to 2 damage to the adjacent, and if you use a frost spell, it's 8 armor. Honestly speaking, out of those 3 options, you're probably always going to want to trigger it on arcane spells, which isn't the hardest thing to do in the world, especially given the fact that Naga Mage does have support in a arcane spell that draws you into additional cards if you played a Naga while it was in your hand. And honestly, this is probably a decent overall card anyways, and we'll see probably a lot of play. My only frustration with this card is the fact that it is the 3rd Mage legendary for a mini set. It would be nice to actually see some of the other classes see some legendaries from mini sets that actually need it, similar to either Hunter or Demon Hunter, both of which haven't seen one. Paladin also hasn't seen any either. And the only rogue one that has actually been seen is the one that actually shares between Mage and itself, which is really frustrating to actually see, because there's a lot of ways that you could have actually just introduced a new legendary that might actually fix some of these classes that were nerfed into oblivion. I know people don't really want to face against a aggro-based Demon Hunter deck, but you could have supported big Demon Hunter, or you could have printed some big Hunter support, or some other type of Hunter support. Hell, you printed a new mech for Hunter. Why not Mech Hunter? Paladin, I don't know, maybe Dragon Hunter. Sea Dragon would be interesting. You never know. There's so many things you could have done with this. I get it. Nagas are mainly spellcasters, so it makes sense that Mage gets another legendary. It's just a little bit frustrating to keep seeing that they keep getting it. It's the same issue that I have with the pre-order portraits. Mage has gotten like, what, 4 or 5 of them at this point, and Hunter has gotten 0. The best Hunter skin, in my opinion, is the one from the Battle Pass, which is Naga Sylvanas. But with that rant out of the way, let me know which cards that you're looking forward to actually using in a deck. And like always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Until the next time, bye-bye.